Penn State goes into LA and pulls off a win in overtime. Your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, so I think where the credit is due here for Penn State, they were down in a brutal situation. They were down 20-6 at halftime. It looked like extremely bleak. And all I heard everybody and saw everybody saying on Twitter, Blake, was, oh, teams can't travel across the country. Look at this cross-country travel. We can't pick teams that have to go that far to play a football game. And Penn State rallies. Tyler Warren makes a bunch of amazing plays. He goes 17 receptions for 224 yards and just has an unreal game. Drew Allard, despite having a couple picks, makes a couple of key crucial throws to help them win the football game. And more importantly, their defense steps up to the plate to get a pick that helps them take the game to overtime. And nobody's talking about, suddenly, after Penn State wins this game, nobody's talking about the cross-country travel all of a sudden. We can't just remove that from the conversation, because I think that is really strong credit for Penn State. A lot of people after this game for Penn State were saying, well, they look kind of sloppy. Like, I don't think they're as good as Ohio State and Oregon. They battled through, which is a really hard circumstance of them to have to go the furthest distance they could. They had to get on a bus for an hour, fly over 5 hours and go all the way to Los Angeles. And despite being down 20-6, they rallied back and they won that football game. They deserve a lot of damn credit for that.
You know, Ohio State fans are going to come in here and say, well, at least our quarterback didn't throw 3 picks. We had the same amount of travel. I'm just going to throw that out there.
No, it's not. It's less travel. Ohio to – am I crazy? Ohio to Oregon?
Pennsylvania, it's a little bit further distance, but it's not as if that it's not in the same stratosphere. To your point, okay – 2-15 are teams in the Midwest going out west. The only wins are Penn State and Indiana. Indiana beat UCLA and Penn State beat USC. Funny, both teams are in LA. Just going to throw that out there. Look, man, they made a lot of deficiencies in this game, meaning Penn State. And this game came down to USC made a lot of plays on defense. And, Joe, of the 3 interceptions they got 6 points out of it. That lost in the football game. Okay. I mean, when you get turnovers like those 3 interceptions and only get 6 points, that's going to, and look, man, it ultimately beat you. If you get one touchdown and one of those turnovers, you win the football game, right? I mean, like, massively win the football game, but you didn't. Andy Kotelnicki called a hell of a game. And I'm going to say this too. Tyler Warren better be in the Heisman Trophy conversation.
Yes, seriously, we want to give Travis Hunter's a great football player, and he deserves to be where he is. But, like, we want to talk about how versatile Travis Hunter is. My man is playing quarterback, center. He's playing running back. He's playing wildcat quarterback. They'll just use him wherever. That kid's freaking awesome to watch. He deserves more love. You're 100% spot on.
Well, here's another thing. The inability for USC to cover him in crucial situations makes D'Anton Lynn look really bad. How do you lose the only weapon that they have? Guys, Joe, the second receiver, if I'm not mistaken, in yards in this game was Julian Fleming, 2 of 33, if I'm not mistaken. Or if it's not 2, he's going to be right there around 3. He was the only weapon that he kept going to. It's the only weapon that Allard continued to throw the ball to, right? I mean,
Harrison Wallace was 3 for 53, and the Nick Singleton, who's a running back, was. But you're right that nobody had a big game outside of.
Well, and Julian Fleming went 2 of 33, did he not?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, so regardless of who it was, I mean, your inability to stop him was unreal. Joe, I got to be real. I thought that Penn State would be able to come in this game and run the football all over the place. To be honest with you, they struggled at times to run the football in crucial situations. But Andy Kotelnicki, when everything was on the line, he pulled out every stop. Joe, the swinging ladder, tight end, snap the ball, touchdown by Tyler Warren. Oh, my God. Like that. I mean, Joe, they put for all the shit that James Franklin takes, for you to be in a crucial situation and you run a swinging ladder where a tight end snaps the football and you convert for a touchdown. Look, man, you say what you want about Franklin, but for that to be allowed, like he allowed that. That takes a lot of growth. That takes a lot of trust and an OC. And I got to be real with you. I think coaching staff-wise, from both coordinators with Allen and Kotelnicki with Franklin, Joe, they're underrated. I mean, look, I thought that Lincoln called a pretty decent game. The execution wasn't there. But when I look at Penn State versus USC, and USC's 2 of 11 on third down, and they can't convert off of turnovers, that's the ball game. That's it. They had, Joe, 7 third down conversions in the second half that they just went to poo-poo. That's on Lincoln. That's on the execution. And good on Penn State for converting on those situations too.
To throw out the toxic talking point before we try to grip it to the other games. Yeah, I think Lincoln Riley's
now what, 5-8 in the last 13 games.
Lincoln, look, we got to stop beating around this. And I think more people are starting to have this conversation, a conversation that I think we were one of the only few that were willing to have in the offseason. The dude should be on the hot seat at the end of this year. Like, he can't get the job done. It was, and I hate myself. I always do this. And I think that one of my improvements as a broadcaster is not allowing for this to happen. Allowing for the just national groupthink push me off of my beliefs and my points. I let everybody be so high after they beat LSU, talk me into thinking that USC and Lincoln Riley were legit and that they were going to bounce back this year. They can't finish, and they can't play with a physical enough of an identity, even on offense, that they can finish football games.
Joe, can I rudely interrupt that? I don't know if that's true, because again, they went out there with Woody Marks, and ran for over 100 yards rushing, though.
Yes, they did, but in the second half, they couldn't finish. They couldn't.
That's fair.
They were up 20-6, and you know what you need to do when you're up 20-6?
Run the football.
You need to put your foot on your opponent's throat. They did not effectively finish. I agree with you. I mean, like, it does look like they've had more success running the football, but it's not to the degree that you need to win games in the Big Ten. I stand by it. Lincoln Riley is the most overrated head coach in all of college football. Has he produced some fantastic quarterbacks that have gone on to play in the NFL? Absolutely. Is he a brilliant play caller? Absolutely. Is he a good head coach? No. They will never win a national championship, and I question if he even has the capability to win one in the rest of his career if it doesn't finish up at USC. BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.
All right. So to your point, though, about Lincoln Riley being on the hot seat, I understand where you're coming from. Okay? Like, I get it. I just, Joe, I see a game like yesterday and they lose, and I'm like, okay, well, they're supposed to lose. They're supposed to lose to that team. More established program, new conference.
I feel so defeatist, though.
Hold on. But they lose to Minnesota and Michigan. Okay? So, Joe, if the truth would be, if they took care of business against the teams that they probably should have beaten, we're not having this conversation. It's not the primetime situations. Like, Joe, that was a great football game. They lost in overtime. Okay. They went toe-to-toe with a top 10 football team and almost won it at home. All right. But losing to Minnesota and Michigan is where he has the issues.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to give him more time. I'm going to stay with the realistic nature of this. I don't think they're going to fire him. I think they owe him too much money to fire him. And that's just USC. I think that this is what I truly believe. Their booster base thinks that it's all NIL related. It's not. Like, not getting the players there, not recruiting, it's not. Other teams and other programs have just as much success and have the same issues that you do. I wouldn't pull the plug yet, man. Not yet. I know, because you're going to have to give them another year anyway. I think you're right, ultimately, then he'll probably be let go or move on or something else will happen. But I think that we're 18 months away from that, something like that happening, right? Like I think that we're a good distance away of that happening. I don't think because Joe, I mean, you owe him $60 million. You know,
right?
Like it's just not gonna. I said that about Jimbo, but I don't know if USC will pull a Texas A&M and pay somebody $75 million to walk away.
They don't have the rich alumni base like Texas A&M does to have that kind of an action.
You got to find a reason to fire him with calls and not pay him or give him half or do something. I don't know. But, are they done with the Clay Helton buyout? I don't know any of that. So in reference to Lincoln, I see the progress that they've had made, Joe, if I'm being honest. Like, I think they're more physical on the line of scrimmage. I think that you can't deny that, okay, the way that they're running the football. But I agree with you that there comes a point where they got to figure something out here. All right.